Okay, guys, I wanted to jump on here and just kind of show you now. Please understand, all right? I have said this, I don't know how many times on this channel, that we don't really do a lot of technical analysis as much as we follow the prophetic. Oftentimes, we only use technical analysis to show you on the charts what God has already spoken. In fact, earlier today, somebody commented on my channel and said that technical analysts are now projecting that there will be a potential 90% crash. I don't know who that is. I don't know who they were referring to. I don't even know if we'll see a 90% crash. But, when God spoke that back in April, May, that this was coming, because we know everything's going to change. However, it appears that we have a short window before that crash occurs. And I'm going to tell you on the charts why this is very, very significant. If we go and look as of 2 days ago, I don't know if you guys remember me sharing this with you last year. Last year, I showed you guys this chart when I was talking, maybe it was the beginning of this year. This is the chart that's called the Bitcoin dominance chart. This is representative of altcoin season. This was back in 2021. You can see it jogged down and it consolidated for a while and then just exploded downward. And that's altcoin season in 2021. As you can see, we've only had a little bit of a blip here, and then it jogged up, and we've got another blip going. This is as of 2 days ago, guys. This one here, however, let me try to expand this, guys, so you can really see what I'm talking about. This happened in November of 2024. Remember when crypto took off on November the 5th? However, on November the 22nd, Bitcoin dominance began to shoot down and it sent altcoins skyrocketing. So in other words, when Bitcoin dominance goes down, altcoins go up. And so as of what I'm looking at here is right here. I guess the past week. No, sorry. Right about here. Yeah, because I expanded this. It's so 2 days ago, that's what I said earlier. 2 days ago, we have had, as of right here, a bit of a aggressive drop that is sending. Remember the last drop that we had, right? Second half of July, I guess, that stimulated some altcoin growth. That's what we were seeing when, coins were pumping, right? And we were even sharing that course that was going over some coins that are pumped. In fact, we had another one of those coins pumped today. I'm getting ready to release that in my private community for those who bought the course. But I wanted to show this to you because as of just a couple of days ago, the 7th, the Bitcoin dominance has dropped a pretty good penny, and it's looking 3% is a good start. And what I mean by this is that we are potentially about to see altcoins begin to take off. Now, I am not a, trader, but what I can tell you, and this is the day chart. So let me go to the 15-minute. I guess this is the 7th here, right about here. This is what I'm looking at here. You've got a really aggressive drop down here happening with the Bitcoin dominance. And so I'm sharing this with you because normally with this type of action, demonstrating that it is aggressively dropping. It is about to send altcoins on another pump. And now, why is this important? Because we all know that we are having a short window here where XRP and XLM are going to take off. Many have seen XRP to $5. Many have seen XLM to 80 cents. However, do not trust that you'll be able to buy in at those prices. I'm sorry, sell at those prices either, because they may just touch that very quickly. But my point is, many of you guys know that there's a crash coming, and many of you guys know that there's a short window of an uptick beforehand. This explains what the Lord has been speaking. We're just now seeing the movement over the past few days where we've seen the Bitcoin dominance begin dropping after God said we're about to see another pump. And so I think it's going to be short-lived. And let me tell you, we've also talked about my theory, where some people, some prophets, I believe, have said that some of these global elites that manipulate the markets, that they're actually going to purposely crash it. Now, interestingly enough, if you look at the timing, XLM going to 80 cents and then crashing like David Williams saw, that would tell me that it would be kind of like about to be getting going here when they decide to do this. And everybody is going to be trusting in buying longs, right? The people who are doing leverage trading, they're going to be betting on the explosion. And this big company that I'm not going to name, however, he had one of the pew pew against big DJT in Pennsylvania on one of their commercials. You remember that company? Well, I believe that they're going to force the market downward while everybody is setting those long positions because they're watching the markets explode, and they're going to try to come in and sabotage. Why? Because that's what they do. And this is where I believe God is having us come in and buy the dips. Yeah, right, exactly. God is going to have us come in and buy the dips before they get a chance to buy it. So everything that everything that they are maneuvering to do, God is going to have us come in there and grab it before them. I'm telling you, this could be a very big deal if the body of Christ were to come together and buy the crash. However, but right now we're waiting on this short little uptick, and I just wanted to show you this chart on TradingView to show you what has happened in the past 2 days. August 7th was right here where it began to just really began to jog downward. And this is a very aggressive downward pivot. And I wanted to show you on the day chart what this could potentially mean. Remember this? This was 2021's altcoin season, guys. Look at how far this dropped. That's the bull run right there for altcoin season. Because the Bitcoin dominance drops. It loses its dominance, and that's what causes the altcoins to begin to skyrocket. And look how much momentum it's been building. Remember, the trader that I am friends with, who is a professional, he says, look at this trend line on this ascending wedge that's been going on for basically 2 years. 2 years. This is 2022, October of 2022. So now we're almost going on 3 years that this thing has been forming. Isn't that crazy? 3 years, this ascending wedge has been forming, which is what? You guys know it, a bearish pattern, bearish. So when this breaks to the downside, we're about to have an altcoin season like we've never had before. Because watch this, guys. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. Never before have we had an ascending wedge occur like this for that long. Here's one that started in January of 2018, ended in September 2019. So we're talking a year and a half on this little guy. Oh, look at that. Isn't she precious? But look at this bad boy right here. That right there has been building and building. It's like a slingshot, man. It's like a slingshot. And look at where we are at here. We're breaking to the downside, but we have the potential to go pretty aggressively downward. This is going to be the altcoin season of altcoin seasons, guys. I'm telling you. That's what he showed me. That's what I was showing you guys on the chart last year that he was showing me. He says, nobody's talking about this. He says, nobody's talking about this. He says, this is what I'm seeing on the chart. He says, look at this. And he says, this ascending wedge, which is a very bearish pattern, which means it's going to crash to the downside. What's crashing? Bitcoin's dominance, which means when Bitcoin dominance crashes, altcoins begin to skyrocket. And I believe that these guys are seeing what I just showed you. They know what's on the table, especially with our administration creating all of this legislation, all of this, like, oh my gosh, it's crazy what's happening. You are about to see one of the greatest. This is the wealth transfer. I can't believe how many people are not seeing it. But here's the crazy part. Many of you guys that are faith-filled, don't forget the scripture. He is able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all you can ever ask or think. Some of you guys think you've lost. Some of you guys think you've lost this, while you've been stewarding these words since last year or whatever. Maybe you've made some mistakes. What if you're thinking small and that God's going to lick all of your mistakes clean with what he begins to bestow upon your life? So this is going to happen. Now, my point is when the crash occurs, after that's all said and done, I believe is when we're going to really see the true bull run. That's what I believe. And I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen in a long period of time. This is August. I don't entirely know how it's all going to work, but I would presume the crash in crypto specifically has to occur before the fourth quarter. That's what I believe. So it's tricky to try to steward this upward move beforehand. However, if you remember David Williams and Ryan Cunningham's words on XLM at 80 cents and then crash, 67 cents and then caution, they are very consistent with what God has shown me. I've not seen any price points related to the crash. Do you know that? I've only seen price points in the crash. He's not shown me price points of where it would crash. He's shown those to David and to Ryan. I've only seen price points in the crash. This is why I think it's so interesting that I think it was David who said that this leg is going to be a leg where God uses all of us in unity, because that's exactly what we're seeing. And if I didn't have those words from them, I would not be reassured in this leg right here. It's because of what they've seen. And it's because that they have factored in through their prophetic, the crash that God's been showing me. Like they've been seeing it too. So that's what really helped me to trust in what they were getting, because he was showing them what he had been showing me. And not many people had been seeing this. Not many people had been seeing this. I don't recall Brendan Biggs talking about a crash. He's talked about a shakeout, but I believe he was referring to what we saw when XRP went down to $1.66. I don't know that he's seeing any future crashes. Others have ridiculed and mocked, and even so much as called those who are seeing a crash false prophets. And I've addressed this to you. I've told you to be careful. One of those, I'm sorry to say, I did speak with I did speak with one of the prophetic voices that they attacked back in the day. And and they said that the Lord showed them that this person was operating in some wrong spirits. And that's what initially caused me some concern, because I had listened to them say on a video one day, you remember what happened the last time this Christian brother came after me. And I was like, whoa, like red flag, you know? And so I talked to this Christian brother, and he said, yeah. He said, the Lord showed me there's some really off stuff going on over there. And I called it out, and I warned my community not to follow this person. And that's what created all this drama. So, you know, listen, it's one thing. It's one thing to, you know, to say I'm not seeing something, but to outright call somebody false because they're saying something you're not seeing, that's a little bit of a slippery slope. And that's what caused me to have my guard go up. And anyhow, let me see. Interesting. I'm not sure what community you're referring to, the wealth transfer community you're referring to. Yeah, there's been several people that have seen the crash. Ryan, I don't know if Ryan's seen the crash, but he did see caution at 67 cents XLM. I don't know. I think he saw the crash. Anyhow, I'm just letting you guys know that right now, because of the Bitcoin dominance dropping the way that it is, and it's looking really sweet. In fact, if you go to the month chart, that's interesting that I'm just pulling this up. If you go to the month chart, this is the ascending wedge that we were talking about that's been formulating for almost 3 years now. September of 2022. And with this, yeah, almost 3 years. And it's just now broken to the downside the past 2 months. Basically, last month was when it finally, and it kind of like broke here, but it wasn't, it was hanging on because Bitcoin was still growing. But this right here, when this goes all the way down, you're going to see a considerable altcoin season. And the crash could happen like right in here, guys. This is what I'm trying to tell you. We could have this little bit of an uptick right here in some altcoin run. Because remember, when the Bitcoin dominance goes down, altcoins go up. So we could see this little bitty run right here, and everybody thinks it's altcoin season. And then it crashes, and then everybody gets scared. But this right here is what we're going to grab afterwards, guys. That's just crazy. I mean, it is just crazy. So I'm sharing this with you just to share this with you. It's something I saw a notification come up from one of my channels where these crypto talking heads are talking about different things. And I saw it flash up, and he said, Bitcoin dominance is dropping fast. And I was like, ooh, let me go take a look. And I went and, I decided, this is a good comment, actually, because remember last year, XRP, XLM has normally outperformed XRP. But remember when God told me XRP last year, and I was like, guys, I don't know, but I'm sticking with what God showed me. XRP outperformed XLM. And now that God's got us in XLM, you are absolutely right. XLM is outperforming XRP on the past 4 or 5 pumps. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Dave says it's a good time to buy what? What am I doing? And so the answer to your question, Dave, is yes. Like, you do what you want to do. I'm not a financial advisor, Dave, but the reality is that both are going to be doing very well. XRP is going to be the main bag after this is all said and done. Number one top performer by far. However, XLM right now on this short leg is what we're stewarding right now. And the reason is because there's a crash coming. Others have seen the crash from XLM happen at 80 cents. But nobody's going to be able to sell before or at 80 cents. So people are being encouraged to be conservative in their sell orders. So if you buy XLM now at 45 cents, you could sell it at 65 cents, presumably, because Ryan saw caution at 67 cents. So you would gain like a 50% profit there. That's crazy before the crash. Exciting. And I just really feel like all these things are going to happen so fast. And remember Apostle Giles' words. Some people are like, I don't know, man, things have been going so slow. I don't know if I can trust in this upward trend before the crash. And then to believe that the bull run's coming right after that. Like, you got to be kidding me. I've seen this whole year go by and very little has happened. That's the point. Joshua Giles said it best when the stock market was going down in the beginning, when the tariffs were just starting. And he says, listen, even if the stock market comes back, he says, I'm telling you, it's going to crash because he said in this season, you're going to see record highs and record lows. He said, everything's going to be crazy, crypto and stocks. That's what he said. And so it's going to make sense. It's going to make sense. And I'm trying to make sense of it for you by sharing with you what this prophet of God has said, because some people are struggling basing, the anxiety of, yeah, sure, man. Absolutely. Especially if you're not trying to navigate the prophetic and God has spoken about these things and you're like, you don't want to make any mistakes. That's the best thing to do for sure. Because it's not going to be long. 4 months maybe. Gosh, remember September and October, man, I'm telling you. September's a strategic month is what prophets have said. So the crash may happen this month or September, and then the run's going to happen in the fourth quarter. And a guy, I got to point this out. A guy made a comment in my community, sorry, on my YouTube channel. And he said, he's like, the point of this, he said, the point of this is to buy and hold, because when everything goes through the revaluation, you know, the markets are going to get shaky. The markets are going to get rocky. And, you know, I don't know what he said, but basically, and I understand what he's saying, but because here's the thing, Joseph Z said XRP is going to be the most stable during the economic collapse. And so some people are like, why are you talking about selling into trading it for a stable coin, for example, if that's projected to collapse? Because I believe God's giving us strategic moves to increase our ante into XRP for when that time comes. I think these moves are happening before that occurs. I don't think the dollar is going to crash until after these moves here are over. This XLM run to 80 cents and then the crash, I don't think the dollar is going to crash then, or God would have not shown me, because here's the deal. Remember, God showed me that XRP would be worth those levels. He showed me $1.40, $1.14. What was it? 92 cents, 81 cents, I think. And then 62 cents is what he showed me. And some people are like, wait. I can't even believe that. Okay, fine. Then if you're new to this channel, I get it. I'm not trying to, do that with you. But here's the thing. If XRP is going to be worth 62 cents, that tells me the dollar has not crashed yet. Because if the dollar crashed, XRP would be worth way more, because the dollar would be worth way less. You catching that? You catching that? You catching that? I love it. I love it. The insights of God. I'm telling you. So we have enough time to make certain moves before the blast off. Good question. Is it safe to grab XRP around 80 cents during the flash crash? I don't know. If you want to set different entry points on a staggering, you're welcome to do that. But for me, the way that I would like to do mine is to not get greedy and to set mine at $1.45. And I would basically double all my XRP. See what I'm saying? For free, right? That's the point. And so why would I try to get greedy and miss the boat and then try to play catch up as it's pumping again? You know what I mean? So that's just me. I'm not going to tell anybody what to do, but yeah, thanks, Chris. Yeah, stay tuned. Stay tuned. There is a plan. Guys, listen, I'm going to jump off here. I wanted to share all this with you guys. Be blessed. Love you guys. Stay prayed up. Do me a favor. Remember the video that I shared where God showed me that resistance level on XLM at 51.4 cents, I think. And I just want to remind you guys, Let me make sure that I'm. Yeah, 51.4 cents. So pray about that. Push this through with your prayers, with your declarations, and with your commands. God bless. Take care, guys.